Welcome back to my channel. They say every coin has two sides, but what if I told you one particular penny from 1977 holds a story far richer than its face value? A story of history, minting secrets, collector curiosity, and a tiny letter, D, that could turn 1 cent into over $100. It's a tale that takes us back to a time when disco ruled the airwaves. Jimmy Carter had just taken office, and the average gallon of gas cost 62 cents. In the background of all this, the United States Mint continued its decades-long mission, producing billions of coins for the American people. Among those coins was the humble 1977 penny. But not just any penny, the 1977 1-cent coin stamped with a small, almost unnoticeable letter, D. To the average person, it's just a penny. Toss it in a jar, leave it on the sidewalk, maybe even ignore it completely. But to a collector, or perhaps someone with a sharp eye, it's a tiny piece of American numismatic history. Now, let's clear something up early. Many new collectors might mistakenly refer to this coin as a Roosevelt penny. After all, Roosevelt appears on the dime, and it's easy to mix up coin figures, especially when you're new to the hobby. But the man on the penny isn't Franklin D. Roosevelt, it's Abraham Lincoln. He's been on the front of the penny since 1909, honoring the centennial of his birth. So why the mix-up? It's a common slip in the collecting community. And yet, this only adds to the charm and lore surrounding the 1977 D penny. Because despite its tiny size and coppery color, this little coin holds value, and fascination, far beyond its worth. Let's zoom in on the details. The 1977 penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. This was before the major metal composition change in 1982, when the U.S. Mint switched to mostly zinc coins due to rising copper prices. So already, the 1977 penny is part of the last generation of true copper pennies, a fact that already makes it attractive to certain collectors and scrap metal enthusiasts. Now, about that D Mint mark. It stands for the Denver Mint, one of the main branches of the U.S. Mint, along with Philadelphia and San Francisco. The Denver Mint has long been known for producing coins in vast quantities, and in 1977, it struck over 4.2 billion 1-cent coins. Yes, billion, with a B. So you might be wondering, if there are billions of these coins out there, what makes this one so special? That's where condition, rarity, and collector demand come in. You see, while billions were minted, only a small fraction remain in excellent condition today. Most have been through decades of circulation, pocket change, vending machines, piggy banks, you name it. A 1977 D penny that has survived in near-perfect condition is like finding a time capsule from over 40 years ago. Grading plays a huge role here. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with a coin in MS 65 or better, mint state, being considered in superb condition. These are coins with sharp details, no major scratches, and strong luster. A 1977 D penny in this condition isn't something you find in your everyday change. These are usually found in sealed rolls, forgotten collections, or tucked away by someone who knew it might be worth more someday. But there's more to this story than just condition. Some 1977 D pennies feature small but significant minting errors, doubled dies, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks. These errors can skyrocket the value of a coin because they are rare and often visually striking. Collectors love imperfections, especially ones that are accidental and unrepeatable. Let's take a moment to imagine, you're sorting through an old jar of coins inherited from a grandparent. You spot a penny that looks different. The shine is still there. The detail on Lincoln's coat? Crisp. The D under the date? Clear and strong. You look closer and notice a tiny doubling around the edges of the letters. Could it be? Now you're hooked, and that's exactly how many rare coins re-enter the market today, not from bank vaults or auctions, but from basements, attics, and change jars, just waiting to be rediscovered. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's like treasure hunting, but the treasure might already be in your home. But perhaps the most surprising part is the emotional value this coin carries. To seasoned collectors, a 1977 D penny is a reminder of a transitional time in coinage history. To beginners, it represents the first real find that ignites a lifelong passion. And to the average viewer? It's a wake-up call: never overlook small change. Because sometimes, what seems ordinary carries a story, and a price, that's anything but. Imagine holding a coin that's been through 5 decades of American history. It's older than the internet, older than cell phones, older than most of the people watching this video. And yet, it still shines, both literally and figuratively. So next time you see a penny, look closely. Look at the date. Look at the mint mark. What stories has it seen? Where has it been? And could it be the next $102 discovery? Because yes, that's the grand reveal. A single 1977 1-cent penny with the Denver mint mark, in top-notch condition, recently sold for $102. Not bad for something most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the ground. The world of coins is full of surprises, and sometimes, they're sitting right in your pocket. Let me tell you a story about a coin so small and so ordinary that we barely notice it in our hands, in our pockets, or even on the sidewalk. It's coppery, round, and often ignored, but what if I told you that one such coin, a 1997 1-cent penny, could be worth over $100 today? Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why, and how this humble little piece of metal has captured the imagination of coin collectors all around the world. Our journey begins with a tiny, reddish coin that most Americans have probably touched, spent, or tossed aside without a second thought. The United States penny. Specifically, the 1997 version of it. To understand why this particular penny can be worth so much more than its face value, we first need to go back. Not just to 1997, but much earlier, to understand the birth and evolution of the American cent. In 1909, the Lincoln cent was introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. This marked a monumental moment in U.S. coinage, as it was the first time a real person, rather than an allegorical figure, appeared on a circulating American coin. The Lincoln penny was designed by Victor David Brenner, and his initials, VDB, have been a focal point of fascination for coin collectors ever since. Fast forward to 1997. A year that, on the surface, didn't seem like a turning point for the Lincoln cent. But that's exactly where things get interesting. The 1997 penny might look just like the millions of others that came before it and after it, but as always in numismatics, the devil is in the details. So far, nothing extraordinary, right? Just another penny. But this is where we begin to peel back the layers. In 1997, the U.S. Mint struck over 13 billion pennies. Yes, billion, with a B. That's a staggering number, and it makes the 1997 penny one of the more common dates in the Lincoln Memorial series. So how could one of these coins possibly be worth more than $100? Well, that's where rarity meets condition, and sometimes, error. Let's start with mint errors. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for pennies that weren't made quite right. These mint errors can happen during the striking process and result in a variety of fascinating, sometimes even beautiful mistakes: off-center strikes, double dies, wrong planchets, clipped planchets, and more. And believe it or not, the 1997 penny is no stranger to such errors. So what makes a 1997 penny worth $106? In one notable auction, a 1997 Lincoln penny graded MS68 red, which means it retained its original red copper luster and had almost no flaws, sold for over $100. Why? Because it was essentially perfect in a sea of imperfection. Out of billions of coins struck, only a few survive in such pristine condition, and that's not just about shiny surfaces, it's about rarity, quality, and demand. Collectors crave the best of the best. And when a coin like that comes up for sale, bidding wars can happen. Suddenly, a penny that most people would walk past on the sidewalk becomes a prized possession worth over $100. Let's imagine that. You're sorting through an old jar of coins, or maybe counting change from a cash register, and there it is, a 1997 penny that glows just a little differently. You pick it up. It looks uncirculated. You grab a magnifying glass. The details are sharp, the luster intact. Now, here's another interesting twist. Some 1997 pennies are made from the wrong material. For example, if a coin was accidentally struck on a foreign planchet, say, a blank used for another country's coin, it can be lighter or heavier than normal, and look different under close inspection. These rare minting anomalies are highly collectible and can sell for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. There's also what collectors call transitional errors. These happen when the mint changes the composition or design of a coin, and some old blanks are mistakenly used. While there aren't any known transitional errors for the 1997 penny, collectors keep an eye out, just in case. After all, new discoveries happen all the time. So the next time someone tells you that pennies are worthless, or that they should be abolished, think twice. Because hidden among those coppery coins might be a rare gem, a collector's dream, just like the 1997 penny that fetched $106 at auction, and beyond the monetary value, there's something else to consider. Every coin has a story. Every scratch, every detail tells us about the history it's lived through. The hands it's passed through. The pockets it's fallen into. The small purchases it helped make. A candy bar here. A cup of coffee there. A tip, a donation, or a child's first savings. Coins are more than just currency. They're artifacts. And sometimes, they're hidden treasures. So, if you're the kind of person who loves hunting for value in unexpected places, or if you enjoy history, collecting, or just the thrill of the search, keep your eyes open. Because the next time you're handed a penny in change, you just might want to look at it a little closer. It's often said that the smallest things can tell the biggest stories. And nowhere is that more true than in the world of coins. Today, we're going to explore a small piece of copper that carries with it more than just monetary value. It carries a story. A story that stretches back over a century, wrapped in history, design, precision, error, and mystery. This is the story of the 1979 Lincoln 1-cent coin, minted in Denver, and how something so ordinary could turn out to be worth far more than its face value. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's go on a journey into the heart of the 1979 penny. Our story begins not in 1979, but nearly 70 years earlier, in 1909. That was the year the United States Mint first issued the Lincoln cent. At the time, it was a revolutionary change. For the first time ever, a real person, an actual president, appeared on a circulating U.S. coin. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, whose leadership during the Civil War and whose dedication to the Union made him one of the most respected figures in American history, was chosen to grace the new cent coin to commemorate his 100th birthday. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, featured Lincoln's right-facing profile on the obverse, a design so iconic that it remains to this day, albeit with updates and modifications over the decades. Fast forward to 1979. America was in a period of transition. Economically, it was a time of inflation, of shifting metal prices, and of the beginnings of changes to the way coins were minted. But through it all, the Lincoln penny endured. The obverse, still bearing Lincoln's face, remained largely unchanged. The reverse, however, had undergone a significant redesign back in 1959, marking Lincoln's 150th birthday, when the wheat ears were replaced by the Lincoln Memorial. This new reverse was designed by Frank Gasparo, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. From then until 2008, the Lincoln Memorial reverse would define the back of the penny. Now, in 1979, the coins were being struck in large numbers. The Denver Mint, located in Colorado, produced a staggering number of Lincoln cents that year, over 4.1 billion of them. That's billion, with a B. With that many coins in circulation, you might think there's nothing special about a single one. But as any seasoned coin collector will tell you, the real intrigue is often hidden in the details. It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality, the rarity, the error, or the condition. So, let's talk about what makes the 1979 penny interesting. The D Mint mark signifies that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. Located in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, this facility has been minting coins since 1906 and is known for its precise quality and high output. But even the best mints can produce anomalies. And that's where collectors start to pay attention. Some 1979 Lincoln cents have been found with slight variations, planchet errors, die clashes, off-center strikes, and even doubled dies. While these aren't as widespread as in some other mint years, they still exist, and they are what begin to set certain coins apart from the crowd. To the untrained eye, these errors may go unnoticed. But to the collector with a magnifying loupe and a sharp eye, these tiny imperfections can mean big money. Of course, not every 1979 penny is valuable. In fact, most are not. The majority are worth just 1 cent, maybe 2 if you're lucky. But every so often, one crosses the auction block in near-perfect condition. Take, for instance, a certified 1979 Lincoln cent graded MS-67 read by PCGS, one of the leading coin grading services. Such a coin once sold for a remarkable $118. Why? Because only a handful of examples in that condition are known to exist. To the right collector, that level of quality, verified, graded, and slabbed, is worth the price. For some collectors, it's not just about the coin, it's about the story. Maybe their parents gave them a penny for luck. Maybe they collected with a grandparent who taught them to look closely at dates and mint marks. Maybe they stumbled upon a coin just like this one when they were a kid and never forgot the thrill of the find. A 1979 penny graded MS-67 might be worth $118, but its real value could be something more, something personal, nostalgic, even magical. So, what should you look for if you're lucky enough to find a 1979 penny? First, check for condition. Is the coin shiny and red, with no visible signs of wear? Is Lincoln's hair sharply defined? Are the steps on the Lincoln Memorial visible and complete? If so, you might have something special. Next, look for errors. Doubling on the date or mint mark, die cracks, or misalignments. These can all increase a coin's value significantly. And finally, consider having the coin professionally graded if you think it stands out. Now, as we come to the end of this journey, let's return to where we began, with that little piece of copper. A 1979 penny. It might be sitting in your pocket right now, or maybe it's lost in a drawer, waiting to be discovered. But what sets it apart isn't just its age or its design, it's what you do with it. Do you spend it without a second thought? Or do you look closer? Because that's the essence of collecting. The curiosity. The attention to detail. The idea that something small might be more than it seems.